All right. Chair Gary Delvo.
Here.
Vice Chair Matt Schuler.
Here.
Alder Barb Dorff.
Here.
Debbie Dean.
Here.
I think Kathy Hinkfus.
Yes, she's here.
There you go. Yep. And Melanie Parma.
Here.
Excellent. Motion to approve the agenda.
Move to approve.
Alder Dorff
Second.
and Melanie. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? So carried. Minutes from our January 12th, 2021 meeting. Motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Melanie?
Second.
Matt? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Minutes approved. Regular business. The appointment of Neil. Neil, you have to help me with this. The pronunciation of your last name. You almost every letter of the alphabet in there.
It's those 5 consonants in the middle that throw everybody for a loop, Chair. It's specialty.
Okay. Anyway, appointment of Neil as Secretary, Executive Director.
Move to appoint Neil Steck-Schulte.
Oh,
as
you got
Second.
I'm practicing it.
And the second to Matt. I think Alder Dorff, I think you nailed it on the pronunciation. Anyway, any questions or comments? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Congratulations, Neil. We look forward to
Thank you, everybody.
a long, healthy life with lots of projects. Thank you.
Yeah,
buddy.
looking forward to working with you.
Absolutely. So we really a lot of informational things. Announcement of award for CARES Act CDBG-CB RFP number 3295 rent mortgage assistance and RFP number 3294 homeless shelter assistance.
Mr. Peters, that's your report, I believe.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, RDA members. So if you recall at our last meeting, in order to expedite these funds, get them out into the community, the RDA granted the review committee the ability to award the highest scoring proposals for the rent and mortgage assistance RFP and the homeless shelter assistance RFP. And I am happy and pleased to announce that the highest scoring applicant for the RFP 3295 rent and mortgage assistance was awarded to New Cap Incorporated for the sum of $191,729. And the RFP 3294 for homeless shelter assistance was awarded to St. John, the Evangelist Homeless Shelter, for the sum of $275,000. And I just want to again extend our thanks to the Redevelopment Authority for just working so diligently and swiftly in helping us get these funds out to the public. Since November, we've been able to award over $784,000 of CARES Act funds out to the public. So I think, considering for as far as government is concerned, I'd say that's a fairly speedy process there from start to finish. So I just want to I appreciate your help in getting this out to our community.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Now we've got this down as strictly informational. So are we saying we don't have to vote on this?
I believe that's correct, Chair.
Correct.
Okay. Unless someone's got a question or comment, we'll move on to item number 2.
No, I think it's just awesome that we were able to get this out to the businesses that quickly, because during this time, that's what matters. So thanks, guys.
Excellent.
Absolutely.
Next informational item is update on the housing study, which I'm anxious to hear about.
Okay, so that's me. You can remember in the past what we did was we took the 23 housing study recommendations that were in the study and assigned them to our teams, our internal teams within the department. And we had all of our teams look at the recommendations and kind of determine whether or not we've already done them or doing them, or if we need to create a new goal to proceed forward in 2021. So out of the 23 recommendations, we have about 7 goals that we're going to put forth into our department goal group. 12 of them, actually, I'm happy to say that 12 of the items on this list we've already done or we're actually doing right now.
Excellent.
For example, the extension of the TIDs for affordable housing, working with the businesses and providing them information with regards to the resources that are out there for them and developers. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff we're already doing, which is good. But the things that we're looking at, we're going to concentrate on out of this list. We're looking at the establishment of that ad hoc housing committee, which will be made up of staff and kind of community members to keep us abreast of what's going on in housing in Green Bay. So remember, this study was done pre-COVID, right? PC.
Right.
So some things may have changed in the market, probably has made them more critical for housing than less, I'm sure. But we want to have this committee that's going to meet. We still haven't defined who's going to be on the committee yet or how often we're going to meet, but we're going to meet so we can at least stay on top of these issues within the housing study and get feedback from the community.
Good.
We need to update and promote our redevelopment toolbox. So the city already has a number of programs that we use, and we have connections to, the WIDA products or the low-income housing tax credit project. So we have our economic development staff already working with these agencies along with our single-family housing redevelopment staff. So we're going to put all these tools together into one toolbox for developers, upgrade them, make sure the rack cards are up to date, promote them, get them on the website. We're looking to do, with regards to development and housing developers that are coming into the office, we're looking at potentially dedicating a department staff person that's going to be like that point of contact for those development projects that come in. Oftentimes you're talking about permitting, you're talking about planning processes. There's all different elements involved with regards to an affordable housing project. So we're looking at establishing one staff person who might be the person who makes sure everything gets done. That's the follow-up person,
Good.
right?
Good.
That's kind of been a request we've had from the building community for a while. So we're going to look at seeing how we can quicken that process. Our planners are going to be working on some things. A number of the things that were in here, we're already doing. We're starting our comp plan this year. Dave Buck is working on that with the rest of our team. So we're certainly going to look at housing, how housing plays into our comprehensive plan. We've already done work on reducing parking requirements. That's been done. There's actually some landscaping and building materials changes in the zoning code that has been being worked on by the Sustainability Committee. So kind of working with that group to determine, what's good for the environment and what's good for the businesses, right? We got to make sure those two work together.
Right.
We're looking at adopting or at least reviewing and considering, let's say, accessory dwelling units. Right now, I believe, and Dave, you can weigh in here. Right now, I believe they're allowed above garages, but, I think we might be looking at other type of tools or housing products that we could look at for like infill houses. For example, the housing stock in Green Bay is aging, right? Or not the housing stock is, but people are as well. There's going to be more older people in Green Bay. So what does it mean for housing? What does that mean for moving mom and dad potentially into your home? And is there a way to create a space for them that may be separate from the primary living facility? So I don't know, Dave, did you want to comment on that, on the ADUs at all, or?
Yeah, the only thing I can accessory dwelling units are only allowed above garage.
Right.
Fonzie style, right? If anybody remembers that. So yeah, we're going to basically, what we do is we kind of search the country, find the best examples, obviously for a northern climate, and take a look and see how we can incorporate those into our city. So
we don't do basements. We don't allow a basement we only allow above garage.
Correct. Well,
Okay.
you can have housing in your basement. I mean, if you have the appropriate exits and it's a two-family
Windows
dwelling.
and-
It's a two-family dwelling at that point if you have separate entrances. But this would be accessory, so like a separate building on the lot.
Okay,
On a
got it.
single-family
Got it.
lot.
Okay,
But there are typically regulations tying them together and that kind of stuff. So yes, we actually just talked about some of it today.
All right, we realize we need to do a little bit more outreach with UWGB and NWTC in helping them promote, support, build new housing products for their students, but also working with NWTC and promoting the trades programs. I don't know if anyone's tried to get a contractor to do anything to their homes lately.
Right.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
a tough field, right now. So we need to keep promoting the trades program so we keep the employee base good, which helps when you're trying to build something in Green Bay. And then we're also looking at potential reduction or fee waivers on the larger affordable housing products. We'd have to take a look at that, whether or not that would make sense and what other communities are doing. So I think we have a good list of goals to go forward. We are starting our department goal process now for everything we do for our department. So I suspect that we will have goals, housing related goals come of that weren't listed in this recommendation. You know, the neighborhood work, the quality of life stuff, the neighborhood association support work, but I'm sure there will be other housing products that come out of our own department goals. So we will tie those all together. And so we can bring that back to you if you're interested in those goals. Otherwise, I think that's what we've got for goals so far.
Yes,
Absolutely.
we're definitely interested in those goals.
Yes.
And like we said, when we reviewed the housing site, it's only going to be as good as our follow-up. And sounds like you're up to a good start, Cheryl.
Yep.
Yeah, and without the goals, how do we know if we're supporting you and your department? So definitely.
Excellent.
All right.
That's what I've got.
Yes. Okay. Informational number 3, financial report and check register. Lisa, are you on? Lisa, you're aboard. Okay, anyway, bottom line is, I take it we're going to be getting signature stamps for Neil, and we'll, as compared to signing checks in the parking lot.
I believe so. I think Stephanie Schmutzer coordinates that.
Yep, she has contacted me with all my required documentation, I believe, Chair, and started that process. So
Excellent. Thanks, Neil. All right. Thanks, Lisa. I have no trouble with the financial report or check register. I don't know if anybody else has any questions or comments. If not, director's report and project updates, please.
Very briefly, obviously, this is day 6 for me, so we're still kind of getting my feet wet. But it has been a pretty productive first week, I think, at least if I do say so myself. Been happy enough. Staff has been working very diligently on getting me up to speed on the major projects. Certainly talking about the shipyard and lots of potential projects coming up there. We're excited about that. Had a discussion here just this morning about the Ford at Rail Yard project. Again, seeing some good things happening there. We've got some things happening in the Legends District, I think, regarding a hotel project that we're certainly trying to work on there. And I believe, Chairman Devil, we're working on your update on the Liebman packing property. We'll have that from legal counsel, we believe, hopefully for the next meeting. We'll certainly have that as well.
Excellent.
The housing discussion was a good one. We had, happy to see Jeff twice. I haven't seen Jeff since I've got here, and I see Jeff twice here in about an hour and a half. We had a great discussion for Leadership Green Bay this morning, and housing was a very big topic. I think in terms of how it related to certainly in not only our downtowns in Jeff's case, but really in terms of economic development overall. And certainly we presented the case and how housing is playing a major role in what we see for our redevelopment sites going forward. And that's a huge opportunity for us. We think there's a good market for it, and we really are saying we're hoping to see some really good projects occur there. I believe you also mentioned we're actually going to be meeting, Mayor is working on a meeting with the Brown County Builders Association, kind of reach out to them to see, making sure that we're responsive to their needs as well, and we maintain a good working relationship with all of our developers. So that's another meeting that's coming up here within the next week or two. So again, hitting the ground running. I know there's several other projects I know staff is working on and kind of filling me in the pipeline, into the queue to get me up to speed on. But we're hopefully going to try to make this more of a little bit more of a formal report going forward. I know sounds like it's traditionally been a verbal report. Would like to kind of keep that as almost as maybe a short written one, because we can actually get that out in your packets just to help see if you have any questions going forward. So,
Excellent.
So with that, certainly available for any questions.
Oh, just one quick question. Neil, I want to make sure I got your office number is 448. What? What's your?
I actually have to look that up here. Hold on 1 second. Let me make sure. I've got mine here. It is. If we get right, it is 920-448-5600. 3395.
Okay. And I don't know if you want to give me your cell phone now or not, but somewhere along the line, I need to.
I will make sure. I think I emailed it to you.
Oh, you did?
Chair, but I will make sure and do it again just to make sure you have it.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for Neil or the mayor? Hey, the mayor's aboard, and he's got his mask on. Our staff. Any other questions for staff, the mayor or Neil?
Mm-hmm.
Matt, you usually have questions. Come on, Matt. Oh, no, nothing. This is rarity. Okay, that's good. Jeff?
Gary, were you asking for me?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Just any updates?
I just got a new laptop delivered, so I was I was a little occupied. Getting that hooked up right now. But yeah, I was on Channel 5 this morning talking coal piles, which is a great thing. The county board is likely to address that within the next week, probably at their next meeting. The Pulling Power Plant property. So once that's in their hands, we can get very serious from the city side of things. Working on making sure that we relocate those coal piles. One big one, obviously, we've been talking about for a while and hoping to get that to the finish line here pretty quickly. One thing not directly related to RDA necessarily, but a big thing for the city, cooperative governance agreement being discussed at our finance committee this evening, and then hopefully at our next council meeting. So looking forward to kind of restarting that formal relationship. We haven't had a service agreement for several years with the Oneida Nation, and we're one of the outliers. Ashwaubenon has had Brown County, Outagamie County, Town of Oneida, and obviously City had it in past years. Unfortunately, that fell away. So looking forward to formalizing that great partnership that we had in Nation, and hopefully we'll have a good discussion tonight, and then a vote on that next Tuesday at council.
Congratulations.
So a couple big items that we're dealing with. But.
Excellent.
Sorry.
That's okay. Great. Mr. Mayor, in this regard to the coal pile downtown, the property downtown, I think our feelings that we would like to have ownership. If we're going to develop it, we long term, if possible, we'd like to have ownership of it, because it's tough enough developing projects when we don't have ownership, let alone working with a developer, we do have ownership. So I'm hoping that's one of your goals, that long term, the property downtown, that the city has ownership. Is that what you were thinking?
I apologize. My connection is really bad here, Gary. I think now it's back on track. Could you summarize what you just asked?
So, in regard to the coal piles downtown, the property downtown, and, eventually you want to get the coal piles out the Mount River. But as far as I'm assuming one of your goals is that the city would end up owning that property, because if we're going to develop it, it's tough enough developing when we do have ownership and working with developers, let alone when we don't. So I assume that is one of your goals, is that the city would eventually own that property.
Yeah, what I would say is we definitely want site control. Whether that has to be formal ownership is probably another question, but absolutely we want the city to kind of be in the driver's seat. Yes. With regard to the vision that's articulated for that property south of the Mason Street Bridge. And I feel like, that's all coming together, and I think we're moving in the right direction. But yeah, absolutely. We want site control there. Okay, great. By the way, congrats to the work that you and Troy have done, bring it to the point where it's at. It's just so refreshing, like I mentioned before, seeing a great cooperation amongst all the players. Yeah, absolutely. Excited to bring it to the dotted line here, hopefully in the next couple weeks. Fantastic. Any other questions or comments for Neil, the mayor, or anybody else on staff? If not, we're going to let you guys off the hook pretty easy, it looks like. Our next meeting is March 9th. So a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
And
Second.
Alderdorf. All those in favor, sing by saying aye.
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 We are adjourned. Thanks, everyone.